Hey guys, it's Lychee here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, my topic is about sports, fitness, and exercise in Korea. I thought for a long time how to go about this topic. Honestly, the thing that kept sticking out to me was Pilates. You might have heard about it. It's gotten so popular on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram in the last probably year or two. I would also say it's highly associated with like similar trends like clean girl aesthetic or just like general wellness or self-care types of things. For me personally, I did get sucked into it. I've taken a lot of mat Pilates classes and reformer classes and also did like adjacent like workouts. Like I went to Legree, which is I think not technically Pilates, but also uses like one of the machines. But yeah, when I thought about it more, I was like, why did I want to try Pilates so bad? And honestly, I kind of came to the conclusion that K-pop is a pretty big factor, like probably not the only factor, but Korean idol culture I think has definitely contributed at least somewhat to why Pilates is so popular these days. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit more about that, but I think we should start on what is Pilates. So first of all, Pilates is like a name. There was this guy called Joseph Pilates and his last name is Pilates, and that's how like the exercise was named that. He actually created it, I think, as a rehabilitation exercise. So like kind of for like physical therapy and stuff like that. It was actually not like meant to be its own, I guess, exercise category. It was for people who are recovering from injuries after other types of exercise and stuff. The two really important things for Pilates is that it's really low impact because you're not doing any like very intense movements or like running or jumping or anything like that. And form is really, really important. So you're also not doing anything crazy explosive. Like you're usually very slow and deliberate and trying to like use your mind muscle activation in order to do the movements correctly. And you kind of like don't add a lot of weights or resistance and stuff. Like it's just different kinds of bands or sliders or that types of things. So that's like the general basics of Pilates. There's two like major styles, and I think in the original method you're supposed to do like both. Like you're supposed to do mat at home and then use like the reformer or other types of equipment when you go to like your physical trainer or something. But basically for mat Pilates, it's very similar to yoga / body weight workouts. So all you really need is a yoga mat, and then a lot of the exercises will be like planks or leg lifts or other types of things like that. Reformer is what I think like blew up out of nowhere more so than mat. You might have seen those machines where it's like there's a board and then you like slide up and down and there's like wires and springs and stuff like that. All of that is reformer's Pilates. There's also different types of Pilates machines like the Cadillac machine or a chair or a bench. All of those are equipments that have like additional resistance or they help you like better stretch out and stuff like that. It's also important to note that if you go to a Pilates studio and use any of the equipment, typically they want you to bring like grippy socks, like the ones that have like gel on the bottom so that you don't like slip around on the equipment because it can be kind of dangerous. Okay, so first of all, why do K-pop idols like Pilates? I thought about this a lot, and I think that after doing some research, it makes a lot of sense to me now. Basically, we all know that K-pop has so much intense choreo. Like most K-pop idols, I think, spend a lot of their time like singing, recording, practicing dance, practicing their performance skills. So they have these like hours and hours, probably dozens of hours of dance practice every single week. And because of that, dance is very like cardio heavy. So on the flip side, what you're supposed to do then is some kind of like weights or resistance training. But then at the same time, like weights creates a lot of like, I guess, bulk, or there's that like bodybuilder type of perception with it. So the only other thing you can kind of do is resistance training. So with the resistance training, it's more so like using your body weight or doing very like slow, low impact types of things. And that is exactly Pilates. And then on top of that with dancing, because it's like kind of explosive and it requires a lot of like flexibility and stuff like that, you can easily injure yourself, especially when you're doing a lot of repetitive movements. Like, you know, if you practice the same dance for like, I don't know, hours on end, obviously there will be some sort of strain. So like I said at the beginning, because Pilates has a rehab type of focus, that means it basically pairs so well with dance. But then on top of that, because you're doing the resistance workouts, you're still like technically building muscle, but it's not like the bulky types of muscle. It's like the long, thin, toned sort of situation. And of course, that is the perfect Korean body ideal. And basically, I think because of that, like, there's a very natural synergy of like, if you dance a lot, then in terms of strength, you can complement that very well with Pilates. Additionally, at the same time, like what I talked about for the original Pilates method, you really need an instructor to make sure that you're watching the form, because the whole focus is like, oh, you're not doing a million different exercises, you're just doing like a couple exercises, but you're trying to do each one very well and very deliberately. So a lot of like high-end Pilates studios, they only take like less than 5 or 10 people in every single class, which means that the teacher can only teach a couple people at a time. And then it's also like kind of really difficult to get a Pilates certification. So because of all of that, like the hourly rate for a Pilates class, especially when you go and use their equipment, is really expensive, depending on what city you're in. But obviously, like as a celebrity, you can invest in that. Probably their companies also pay for it, just because it's like, this is an investment in their health and their looks. So after I realized all of this, I was like, wow, the fact that K-pop idols do so much Pilates these days just like makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the next step in this conspiracy theory, why does that make everybody else want to do Pilates? Well, this is like a whole other issue which we have already been aware of for the most part. So compared to like Western celebrities, K-pop idols generally are very like parasocial with fans. K-pop stans are also like extremely dedicated to their certain idols. I think it's just because of the way that idols tend to interact and talk with their fans and stuff like that. Like a lot of them act very personable, or they put out so much content that you feel like you know them. That's why K-pop idols are always involved in endorsements for different brands. It's because companies know that the relationship that the idol has built with their fan base is very strong, and people like take their recommendations seriously. So because a lot of idols talk about the fact that they do Pilates or post pictures or videos of it, I feel like Jungkook talked about Pilates recently in a live. Jennie has definitely posted on her Instagram about Pilates. I'm sure there are dozens of other idols who have posted or talked about Pilates in some way at this point. And if someone you really admire and trust is like saying that, hey, I've done this and it works really well for me, I mean, you would trust them. I feel like K-pop has influenced so much more than just pop music. Like, people watch Korean dramas, they want to know more about idols' lifestyles, they want to copy their hair, their makeup, like all of these types of things. And it's just like, if they're doing an exercise that they say like works really well for them, why would you stop there? Like, you would also probably try that if you were interested in trying everything else that they recommend. Like, to conclude this, I think like for me personally, Pilates did actually make a lot of sense. And even just doing like mat Pilates, following YouTube videos if I can't go to the studio or anything like that, it wasn't the right choice for me just because I happened to like idols that also did it. It actually like did make sense in my certain situation, because I'm someone who has like historically had a weak core or whatever, and then like Pilates really helps focus on that. I feel like it's reduced my back pain and like improved my posture and other random things like that. But I feel like everyone's situation is kind of different. So maybe you are someone who has none of the problems that I have, and then you try Pilates because a K-pop idol did, but you don't like do the same things like dance or whatever. You don't have like any specific weak areas that Pilates can help with. Then I don't know, then maybe it's just not as helpful for you, or you wouldn't benefit as much from it. Anyways, I just think it's kind of interesting how like idols specifically latched onto Pilates, and it kind of like caused everyone else to do that too. Also, I have no evidence or proof that K-pop idols are the only reason that Pilates is popular. Like, I'm definitely not saying that, but I suspect that they are a big contributor to the whole situation. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.